Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. Um, it's always difficult, when you first start off. Where do you start off on YouTube? Where do you start off when you talk to people? And very importantly, in the first couple of seconds, you can form an impression, and you guys can decide whether you want to stay or you want to go. I want to now come to Surah Baqarah, and I want to share with you what became interesting for me in Surah Baqarah when I read it the second time, when I read the Quran the second time. When I read the Quran the second time, my inspiration isn't as I saw it first, okay? So, Surah Baqarah, Allah talks about, first of all, you'll probably know, everybody knows what Allah said in the first verse, right? But the three isolated letters. And the third one, he talks about regarding this book, and regarding which there is no doubt in there. But who is the book for? Who is the book for? The book, it's not who it is for, right? Who's the guidance for? Who is the guidance for? The guidance is for the God-fearing. Now, God-fearing people are top of the list here, right? You'll see that God-fearing people are on the top of the list, those who fear Allah. And the highest quality of human being here, it seems to be the one that fear Allah, taqwa of Allah. And then on the third verse, Allah talks about them, about believing in the unseen, being steadfast in prayer, and spend out what we have provided for them. Right? That's what Allah says. And who believe in the revelation. Now, this is only two verses Allah's talking about the pious people. What I found interesting on my third time when I read this, not the second time, but on the third time, that the third verse Allah is saying, and who believe in the revelation sent to you and sent before thy time. Now, this is very, very interesting, because for this one, I have to take you now to Surah Al-Imran. I believe it's Surah Al-Imran. And then we go to Surah Al-Imran, and we go to the verse, Surah Al-Imran, verse 99, right? Allah's talking about, and there are certainly among the people of the book, and there are certainly among the people of the book, those who believe in Allah, in the revelation to you, pointing to the Prophet, and in the revelation to them. Now Allah saying about certain people of the group, they believe in the revelation sent to you, i.e. the Prophet, and sent to them, bowing in humility to Allah. Now these people are bowing in humility to Allah. They will not sell the sign of Allah for a miserable gain. These people will not sell the sign of Allah for a miserable gain. For them is a reward with their Lord, and Allah is swift in account. So Allah is saying these people have got a reward with Allah. Okay? And when we look at Surah Baqarah, verse number 4, Allah is saying, and who believes in the revelation sent to you and sent before thy time. And in Surah Al-Imran, verse 99, Allah is also talking about the people of the book, that they also believe in the revelation sent to you and sent before the time. So here's a good connection, and these people will not sell the sign of Allah for a miserable gain. Now we go to Surah Al-Imran again, and if we go to verse, I think I should get this right. If I don't, I'll kick myself. Yes, it is verse number 75, and you should also have a Quran translation, and you should look at this as well. But when you hear it with me, you're going to be baffled. You won't know what I'm talking about, because I'm going into it so fast, and every information is, it's like you need to be actually looking into a translation as well, and you'll see it for yourself what I'm talking about. So we talked about Surah Baqarah verse 1, this is Surah Baqarah verse 4, then I talked about Al-Imran verse 99, pointing to Surah Baqarah verse 4, and Surah Al-Imran verse 199, where Allah says about those people of the book, they will not sell the sign of Allah for a miserable gain. Now, we need to look into a little bit more about this, and this is a verse on Surah Al-Imran, verse 75, and Allah is saying, among the people of the book there are some, if entrusted with a hoard of gold, will readily pay it back. So there are people from people of the book, if you entrust them with a hoard of gold, they will readily pay it back. Others, meaning there's another people in the people of the book, who, if you entrust with a single silver coin, just one silver coin, like these plastic coins that my man had this morning, the robber I'm talking about, just one single coin, right? If you entrust them with the one single silver coin, will not repay it unless you constantly stood demanding, because they say there is no call on us to keep faith with this ignorant pagan. Now some people, if this translation says this, another translation says something else, but they will tell a lie against Allah, and will they know it. So here Allah is talking about there's a group of people, right, that if you entrust them with gold, hoards of gold, they'll readily pay it back. But there's others, if you give them one silver coin, it's very difficult for you to get it back off them. Surah Al-Imran verse 199 also talks about these people, and Surah Baqarah verse number 4, I believe is also talking about those people as well. It's just, I've never heard anyone say that to me, and that's where I've become afraid. You know, people will be thinking, what the hell is this guy thinking? What the girl is this saying? So these are one portion of people in the world, okay, Allah talks about, right? And Allah saying on the verse 5 on Surah Al-Baqarah, these people are on true guidance. So these people are on true guidance, whether it's us amongst the fear Allah or amongst them who fear Allah, they are on the true guidance. Okay, listen, I'm just saying this, okay, because this is what this is what I see now. Okay, now verse 6 and verse 8, okay, Allah's talking about from 1 to 9 in this Surah Baqarah that there are really 3 types of people in the world. There are 3 types of people, and it's scattered everywhere. This is the 3 categories of people. The one that fear Allah, in them there could be amongst the 2 groups of people. They fear Allah, they're the top people. Taqwa people are the top highest people. The second one are those who reject faith. Okay, this is the second category of people. They reject faith. And the third one is people who say they believe in Allah and the last day, but they really don't. They really don't believe in Allah or the last day. And it's very interesting because everything is sent its measure. The Quran is sent its measure, right? So when you look at the verse 2, 3, and 4, and 5, okay, there's the description about the God-fearing people. It's only have 5 verses, about that much. Those who reject faith, it's only that much. Okay, it seems to me Allah's not wasting much time with His people, and He explains that, you know, on their heart and on their hearing and on their eyes is a veil. Those who reject faith. So Allah is not really wasting much time with them in these verses. But when you go to verse number 8 and He introduces and He talks about people who say they believe and they really don't, that goes to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and as I remembered, I think it continues, okay, I think it continued to verse number 39 or somewhere, yeah, but it's much longer. It's much longer, it goes on, it's more than 5, 6, even 10 verses, right? So when I looked at this, I thought to myself, you know, these type of people must be more in the world. I can be wrong. These type of people must be more in the world, and the other types of people must be more lesser than them, meaning probably hypocrites and all that. So that's what we see today, and that's I mean, it is true. The other day I was with my children and we were rehearsing from Surah Al-Ma'idah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started talking about a certain group of people who comes up to Prophet. I think they were giving him lots of grief. And you know, what they were saying with their lips, it wasn't in their heart. That's what Allah was talking about. And these people are liars. So now Allah is pointing to liars. Allah is pointing to rejecter of faith. Who is the rejecter of faith? You know, that's what you need to think about. Muslims today don't really even take this rejection of faith really seriously. When did rejection of faith start? Who was the first rejecter? The first rejecter was the one that used to worship Allah. And we know Iblis, he was a worshipper of Allah, became the king of all the angels. He was above all the angels, ruling over the angels. That's how status it became. So he was someone that already believed in Allah, he already worshipped Allah. But when Allah told him to bow down to Adam alayhi salam, and he never bowed down to Adam alayhi salam, right? That's when he rejected the command of Allah, and that's when he became shaitan. But he already, until today, he believes in Allah. He knows he believes in Allah. So people who can believe in Allah and actually don't obey the command of Allah have got something to think about here, where they're going to stand on the day of judgment. We all need to think about this seriously. If you think about Adam alayhi salam's, one of his son that actually murdered his brother, now he was from a Muslim family, he was from a believing family. And his sacrifice never got accepted by Allah, means Allah rejected his sacrifice. Okay? And which line did he go down to? Which line did Shaitan take him down to? So sometimes we Muslim, we need to think at the three categories of people, where am I really standing? And you know, me for instance, I don't even think I'm the top one yet. I'd like to go there, I'd like to strive for that, but you know, it's either number 2 or number 3, and I'm being honest now, and I'm feeling that as well. I'm not saying I'm feeling that, but you know, it does scare you when you understand it. And the third one, the people. Now, very interestingly, all of these 3 types of people, Allah's given us the condition of their heart. The first one, they have the assurance of the hereafter. That is what's in their heart. Okay. The second people who reject, right, Allah's giving us a condition of their heart. Allah's saying that there's a veil on their heart. They have a veil on their heart as well as their hearing and their eyes. Okay. Now that's a condition of these people. And the third people, Allah also giving us a condition that Allah is saying that in their heart is a disease. There's a disease in their heart. Okay. So we have to think sincerely that when you read the Quran translation and you take these 3 categories of people, how Allah always talking about these 3 categories of people. And sometimes one can get so much categorized. For instance, one who rejected faith little to an extent now he doesn't believe anymore. We hear stories about Abu Jahl, the father of ignorance. We know he believed what the Prophet said. He know he was talking the truth. And although they believed in 360 gods, they also knew that there was one Almighty also there. They knew that. And they also knew the Prophet spoke the truth. But they didn't accept it. They don't accept it, they rejected it. And once I was sitting with some people in Bangladesh, and I was telling these people they were doing some work for my dad, and they're building something. So I went and invited them to come and pray when the azan went. And they said to me, "Oh no, you go and pray. You're so blessed. You're from London. You got the money. You got the prayer. You go and pray." So I said to them, "Listen, in our region in Bangladesh, there was a man named Saifur Rahman. He's a British Bangladeshi National Party. He was a finance minister, but he was from our district in Bangladesh. Everybody knows him. and he's got this place, I think they call it, I might get it wrong, Auditarian. I think that's what they say. It's like a place where people can actually go there and see him and pledge to him whatever needs they need in the village, and he will probably finance it. That's how things work. And I remember once everyone from our village went there because we wanted the road, and we went there to his place, and from our village people, elders, they chose one guy to talk, and he gave a talk, and this man, he liked it. So I remembered that, but that wasn't that year, that was back in the past somewhere. I wasn't even practicing that time. So now I've invited them for Salat, and now they're giving me all this goodness that I've got, right? I said to them, I said, listen, imagine we all went to Saifur Rahman's place, wherever people go, and we all sat there and he was talking. And suddenly he said to me by my name, or by my dad's name as well, he told me to stand up. And he told me to stand up, and at first everybody must have thought I never heard the guy. He said it again, and everybody thought I didn't hear the guy. And I'm not still standing up. And he said it third, fourth, fifth time now, and he said it with quite anger. And then I said to them, I said, if you saw this day that this guy is calling me, and I'm not even responding to him, what would you make out of me? And they said, Saifur Rahman has called you so many times, and you didn't respond to him? Oboshoi. It is a very bad thing. You know, they said this in Bengali, but they said it, that they moved. And they said that they got moved. And I said, all right, brother, calm down, calm down, calm down. I calmed them down, and I said, you know, you're saying that Saifur Rahman called me so many times, and I didn't respond to his call. And you're saying that is such a disobedience of my part, that is so disrespectful on my part. But the adhan was just called. Who just called that? Who just gave us the call? This is Allah calling us. Lord of the Lord, highest of the high. He's the one who's calling us, and now you guys don't want to come to the prayer. How bad is that? And how bad is that going to go down in your life? And they were gobsmacked to see a man from London say such word. They were gobsmacked. And I realized a lot as well. But you know, they never came. They never came. So there are situations like that where constantly in the Muslim world, Adhan is being called 5 times a day and Muslims are not going to pray. Where do you want Allah's wrath to descend? And when you tell some people that, it seems like it's not much here. And people have different opinion how to solve the situation. That's down to them. And there are good people doing that kind of work to actually get people to pray and all that. So when we go back to Surah Baqarah, the cow, when Allah's talking about, first of all, He's talking about 3 categories of people. I want you to remember that. The top one, the top people, the top notch, Wali Allah, they're the one that's fearing Allah. And the second one, those who reject faith. And the third one, who say they believe but they really don't. There's no faith in their heart. Full of hypocrites, the world, you're going to say. Everywhere you go, you're going to experience people of hypocrisy. Someone's going to call you a hypocrite. You're going to see someone else as a hypocrite. That's all it is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the best of way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow His true understanding. And I want to close this with this dua. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين.